Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, our production Gorcom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have him back, Michael Lendy, CEO, President of Predictiv AI. Love that name because you probably already know what they do. Trades on the venture under the stock symbol PAI. And for our friends in the US, INOTF. And for our friends in Europe, 71T. Now, for those of you new to the story, here's what you need to know. Predictiv AI's proprietary AI and machine learning platform provides what you would expect predictive and prescriptive solutions in the public safety sector. Now, more than just lip service, they've already received orders for 62 units of their thermal pass, and they only launched that in October 2020. It was also showcased at this is the thermal pass fever detection system at a Carolina Panthers NFL game during the season. It's got 24 medical grade sensors, 1,200 readings per second, and it's great for use in high traffic places like factories, schools, office buildings, mass transit, and so on and so forth. The company's got two wholly owned subsidiaries. They got AI Labs that's their R&D arm, and Weather Telematics. That's where they launched their Alert Fleet product, a road weather hazard alert system. And today's press release, Predictiv AI partners with Waterloo Artificial Intelligence Institute. That's a big one. Michael, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Good to be here, George.
Look, for people who are new, I want to talk about University of Waterloo. But before we do that, I'd rather talk about the really flash stuff first, right? First of all, you've already sold 62 units of thermal pass. What do you attribute that early success to?
Well, I mean, since November, it's been we're in the 80s now, and
okay,
in terms of quantity, so it's gone up a little bit. But then what we did was that was just us. That was just our internal team reaching out to different buckets of education, hospitals, and prisons. But what we did was we decided since then to put together a sales channel program where we've got some very experienced sales channel consultants on board now who are working with us. And we decided, look, we're an AI team. We're not a sales team. So let's keep producing great artificial intelligence solutions through deep machine learning, for subject matter experts. But let's make sure we have, as good as we are at AI, we want someone just as good in the sales world who's got established clientele, established customers, big brand names. So we've been signing out a lot of different sales channel partners for distribution and reselling. And that's been our strategy. And although some of those we signed on as long as 6 weeks ago, it's taken about that long for them to get up to speed, have the product knowledge meetings.
Sure, of course.
We had to educate their staff and their teams. And in the States and Canada, in fact, Jason from our joint venture partner, Commercial Solutions, is down in the States as of 2 days ago, working with a couple of those different sales channels and a couple of different financial institutions, because we're in the process right now of getting them set up to do some great volume sales. And so that's where we've been asking, trying to level set and manage people's expectations that even though we have these great partnerships in place, it does take a couple of months to see the fruits of the labor, so to speak. But we're setting up those strategic sales channel partnerships everywhere now across North America, which is really exciting.
You're not the first company I've had to talk to about helping manage shareholder expectation for sales cycles, right? Naturally, shareholders wake up every morning and they want to see a press release. We understand that, but I think you managing expectations great. The example I've used in the past for everybody at home is, look, if you want to sell your house, a house that everybody wants, you don't need to convince anybody. It takes 90 days before you get it sold, because you have to hire a real estate agent. They've got to come in, they've got to take measurements, look around, they've got to figure it out. That takes 90 days. And that's a house. That's something that happens all the time, every day for the last 100 years. So when you talk about artificial intelligence detection systems for COVID-19, I think it takes a little bit longer than that, but you're confident in the meantime, Michael, that these channel partners you guys have set up are going to be able to do the job that you're expecting.
So I remain more bullish than ever because these sales channel partnerships have demonstrated to us that they not only know the space, they've got other products already that are doing quite well to mitigate the spread of contagions, and not just for COVID, but for anything, for a flu, for another virus, where number one symptom is an elevated temperature. So, and the nice thing is, with all the new news about, we're not in the imaging business, and we're not, taking names. We're taking faces. There's no facial recognition here. It's completely anonymous data that we're collecting, which is worth a lot, and that's going to come into play soon. We can speak more about that later. But it's the fact that people don't feel a violation in social distance because it's touchless and no one needs to get near them with a thermal gun pointed at their head. And
Actually,
well,
while we're talking, Michael, we've had video of the actual unit in place, just for people to see. It's amazing. You just literally walk on through a doorway, and I don't think most people even realize it's there because it's so innocuous. You kind of walk through a doorway, and your thermal pass kind of looks like part of the door frame almost.
Yeah, when we did a demo for 7,000 NFL football fans in Carolina, one of the NCAA former coaches was down there. He used to work for the Indiana Pacers as well. He was commenting, "Wow, like nobody even notices they're going through." And then when they realized they did, they're like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." So great, it wasn't this daunting, fearful thing they had to go through. It was just part of the scenery, so to speak. And only people who, registered a fever got pulled aside. But the nice thing is that, it's these are sensors which take, as you alluded to earlier, take 1,200 readings per second. So it's great. It's tremendously accurate, but unobtrusive at the same time, and allows people flow of 60 people per minute, which is amazing. So when we have our sales channel partners out there promoting to their existing companies, whether they're big retail box companies, or whether they are medical suppliers, or hospitals, or in education or government, whatever they are as customers, these are groups that will appreciate where the sale is coming from, because these are very reputable resellers who will only sell well-known and respected products. So it's much better than me reaching out to you going, "Hi, I've got thermal pass. Would you like to buy one?" We've got a much more sophisticated infrastructure in place and it's growing all the time now, which is amazing.
And I think that's super smart because, first of all, we now live in a world where even the biggest corporation on the planet have said, we just want to focus on our core competency. We don't want to deliver. If we're Coca-Cola, we like to make food and beverage products. We're not in the delivery, so they're outsourcing everything. So I think that's great that you guys are thinking like a big company already. And I think
you have to scale. I mean, people, and I'll address one by one. I'll speak to different investors, whether it's on your hub through typing away, or whether it's a phone call. And I'll explain, to an investor who's perhaps a little frustrated and wanting to see big sales to move the stock up. And I say, it's coming, but let me back up and explain to you our process and how I wish I could tell you all the other stuff in the background, but I'm not allowed to until it's public domain. But what I can tell you, which is available to everyone, is that it's a process to develop a model for this business that's based upon programming for the distribution on a sales channel basis. And that's when I get off the phone with a frustrated investor, they're no longer frustrated. And instead of being a detractor, they're now a promoter. And they're saying, okay, so I get it now. I spent, 15 minutes with Mike on the phone, and I understand. And I wish I could, speak to every single person to explain this, but what you're going to see.
The great thing is we're doing it here, and I know you can't go through a 15-minute explanation of the sales process, but there's definitely, look, there's definitely a method to the madness, right? It's not a case of, hey, George of GeorgeCom, you want to resell my ThermoPass? Sure, Michael. Yeah, great. All right, let me just call up some guys now and start making the sales happen. You have to set up the process. These are professional sales channels. So they need materials. They need to get educated. They need to figure out how are we going to fulfill these? What are the payment terms? You need to put all that in place.
Yeah.
Right. And
then
every sales channel probably has a bit of a different process too.
Totally. And what we've been told this by all these sales channels who don't even speak to each other, so we know it to be true. They've all independently said, listen, once we start reaching out, you're looking at 8 weeks, and they're just starting to reach out this week. So you're looking at a couple of months before you see some significant sales. You know, all
by mid-May or so, we'll start seeing some things start happening. And I don't know why people are impatient, Michael. I'm going to tell you something, if you don't mind. You know, I've been in the small cap world for 24 years now, and I've been fortunate enough to have some incredible successes under my belt, under the Agorcom belt. Right. Guys, this stuff doesn't happen in a day or two or a week or a month. As long as a company's got a great product, they've got a great business plan, they've got some validation. To me, the validation, Michael, comes the fact that you've already sold more than 80 units. You've got a number of channel sellers, channel partners who don't want to waste their time, by the way. If they take you on, it's because they have real big confidence in the product and what's going to do in the marketplace. So you just got to give, for everyone who's watching this, who might be an impatient investor, you have to give the business plan a chance to form, right? You need to let it happen. So I think most people are not impatient, but for those who are, I hope they get a better understanding that, this is going to be a company's going to be around for a long time. So if you have to wait 8 to 12 weeks here, what's the problem?
And the thing is, George, we're doing the same thing with Alert Fleet now.
So, yeah, let's talk about that. So let's go on to the Alert Fleet side, because if you just had ThermoPass, that'd be fantastic. Let's talk about Alert Fleet.
So, the Alert Fleet, what I'm so excited about is, and I like to use hockey analogies. Heck, we're Canadian, why not? You got this 50-goal scorer who's sitting on a bench, and you're just wondering, hey, what happens if I actually play this guy? And that's what the Alert Fleet, before it even had its name and branding, that's what it was when I first came into the company about 11 months ago. And it was this amazing proprietary data made up of over 10 years and over 100 million miles of proprietary road and weather data, that when current atmospheric temperature meets historical data, it comes together and tells you within a certain amount of yards or meters ahead, like within 150 meters ahead, hey, there's black ice, or there's hydroplaning, or lightning strikes, or heavy winds, things that long haul trucking companies have major issues with, that can lead to disaster, not just to product not arriving on time and product and damage, but the safety of a person's life who's driving the vehicle. And so for him or her, the truck operator, this is paramount. And so we branded this and monetized it and got it going and put our presentations together. And we've been having some really great initial success getting introduced into the marketplace by our friends at Infield Solution, who have tremendous experience with great GPS companies. And also there's other partnerships that are underway right now that we're working with, who have already 15 or 16 fleets as customers, because they're the current software supplier or GPS company for these firms. So instead of us going to each and every fleet, no way. Instead, we're using the software fleet providers as our sales channels to introduce us into their networks, because none of them have what we have. None of them have the road and weather accuracy that we have. Okay?
And Michael, is it predicting based on historical weather patterns and historical road conditions? Is it predicting that, hey, George, you may have black ice ahead of you because of, or is it or is it actually doing that in real time?
It's doing it in real time for hyper local weather reporting. So if George, if you're driving a big truck and you get an alert in your truck saying to you 150 meters ahead, black ice, you're going to slow down to 20 kilometers or whatever it's going to tell you, switch lanes or pull over, whatever it's going to tell you. That is a result. That app is a result of historical meeting current atmospheric data. Now we take it a step further, since we're experts and leaders in the sensor business, and sensors are what made thermal pass what it is. We have that initial technology from the road sensors, which gives us what we call 100% ground truth. And these sensors are a whole other level. One sits on the top of the cab and one underneath of these trucks, and gives you 100% road accuracy. So, we're now, instead of us calling up a fleet of 200 or 300 vehicles trying to sell our system into theirs, we're calling up the companies who already have those fleets as customers, who are missing our technology. They layer our technology in and sell it to their thousands of trucks, because they have 15, 16, 17 fleets, some of these companies as customers, and each fleet ranges from 300 trucks to 3,000 trucks. So you could be upwards of 100,000 to 150,000 trucks that one company we're working with or partnering with has as customers, and they're just layering in our weather. They may already have the navigation, they may already have a certain type of risk, but they don't have, with our degree of accuracy, our technology. So we found out real quickly that our sales channel in this world, same model as ThermalPass, are the people who already have the clients. Why make things difficult? Why not hop on what's already winning and join that?
And they, by the way, your partners feel the same way. They know that there's a need for these kind of products, but they're not going to produce them themselves. They don't want to be in the AI business. They've got so it's a perfect partnership. You bring the technology, they bring the customers, and you guys do some kind of a rev share at the end of the day, or however it works out. You optimize your sales, and they further optimize the channel, because that's what every business wants to do at the end of the day, right? George Com has 100 customers who buy hamburgers from me. So it makes sense if I can partner with Michael's Meats to also sell them hot dogs and to also sell them chicken. That's right. I can't make this stuff, but you've got it. You put it through. Everybody's happy. Perfect.
That's right.
Let's talk about this press release quickly, because I'm a business guy, and I think the shareholders love. I'm glad we started with that conversation, because that's really the business side, right? But this headline here, where you've partnered with Waterloo Artificial Intelligence Institute. First of all, that's an incredible feat, because Waterloo's AI Institute is world renowned. Question I have for you is, you've already got AI Labs. That's your internal R&D arm. What does the partnership with WaterlooAI bring on top of that that's going to help you guys out?
So I think what it does are a few things. Number one, it lets the world know that Predictiv AI is a serious artificial intelligence and deep machine learning company, bringing solutions to subject matter experts in various verticals. Because when you take it upon the business to associate with what is considered the top artificial intelligence school in North America, if not the world, you're making a statement on where you want to go in your future. You're saying, one, we want to scale up and have access to the best minds available, professors, graduate students, masters. Two, we want to be on the learning cusp. So we're wanting to learn from the institution as well and take in everything that they're bringing to the table. Three, we want to have the ability to associate with their, as they would call it, round table network of businesses. I mean, they have incredible partnerships with huge brand names, the likes of which include Microsoft and
Oh, everybody.
Loblaws and incredible partnerships on very high levels these guys have. And so it gives us some exposure to them as well, and to learn what everybody else is doing. Because if you're just going to go with blinders on in your business and make plans like that, you're not doing a service to your business. And where Daryl Smith, our chief technology officer, is concerned, he believes and we believe that we've got to constantly be learning. And we have a lot of initiatives on our table. We're going to be able to have some access to some of the greatest AI minds there are. And I think they have over 600 plus individuals who are brilliantly engaged and
600 AI heads are better than one.
Unbelievable. And they're doing an incredible sort of open house virtually on March 25th. So people should go check out Waterloo.AI because they're doing, so if you're a business in AI or if you're a group that is interested in where artificial intelligence is going, these guys are on the cutting edge.
Well, maybe you could post that to the forum, Michael, if you don't mind. Post to the AI forum on Agoracom. That would be great, just to, because I'm sure a lot of your shareholders, hey, even me, I would love to take a look at that. Who think about artificial intelligence but don't know where to start. By the way, let me ask you a question. I'm going to make an assumption, and I want to ask you if I'm correct. To become a partner with Waterloo AI Institute, right? I'm assuming you have to pass a certain threshold. So GeorgeCom, again, GeorgeCom doesn't exist, but I always use that as an example company. I can't just call up Waterloo AI and say, hey, I'm doing a little bit of AI and I'd like to partner with you. I'm assuming that they want to take a look at serious partners and that they took a close look at what Predictive AI is doing and almost accepted you in as a partner. Am I wrong there?
I mean, it didn't happen overnight. So I'm assuming I had the privilege of meeting with Harold Godwin, who is managing director of WaterlooAI and the Institute, and met with him a few times actually, and getting to know each other, understanding where we come from, what we're doing, what our plans are about, and I would assume they did their due diligence and looked under the hood a little bit. I'm very humble about this. We're a small company, and we're very excited to have an affiliation with the school, and very excited to put on our learning hats and just, I think the first 6 to 9 months is going to be just looking around and seeing what it means to have the ability to participate in that community. And then after that, I think there's a good likelihood of us getting more involved on a more significant level from our end. This is an incredible opportunity, and for us to have access to great minds and work on some of our ideas with them. And the other thing is they have incredible students who want to work during the summer.
Jobs when they graduate.
Yeah, absolutely. And after graduation, so to just be able to have a bit of a in there on the we just hired a brilliant guy from Ivy at Western, who's also a computer scientist, and it's incredible what this young man brings to the fold. I mean, just blowing us away. We're listening to what he's telling us every day, and we're just incredibly impressed. So there will be a lot, and they've got this. They've got a partnership, the University of Waterloo, with Mac, with McMaster and Western, I believe, and the three universities work with outreach to industries. So they work to create a bridge between the actual AI industry and the academia. So it's, these guys are not living in a purely academic world. They're living in a very real, and they're an
Yeah,
active.
you got to be pragmatic, otherwise you're no good to anybody at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's just incredible what I've learned so far, just getting to understand how the school works. And it's, I'm looking forward to when COVID has restrictions have been lifted and things get better and more improved. I'm looking forward to spending some time at the university, and really exploring where this is going to go. It's very exciting for us.
Michael, this is just the second time that we've done an interview together, and first time I was really excited, and now listen to you just from the business side, from the R&D side, the processes in place, channel partners. I get more and more enthusiastic about the future of predictive AI. And when I say that, I don't mean what the future holds next 2 weeks or 2 months, but what it holds next 2 years. And because you guys are definitely shaping up to be an amazing small cap disruptive tech company. And I can't wait to have you back again for the next developments in the company.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, it's a great opportunity that you're providing us here, George, where we can speak to what's going on and our progress. And just to reiterate what you said before, if folks can be patient with us, we're putting in all of the infrastructure that and creating a model that a sustainable and scalable business needs to go forward. And this is a long-term play. We're very excited about this, but there's going to be some short-term near coming rewards soon. So we're very excited to start to see the wheels in motion that are going to be paying off soon.
And you're no stranger. I just want to touch on this for 30 seconds.
Sure.
You're no stranger to introducing, ramping up, and succeeding with emerging tech from the ground up, because a lot of people don't know that you were the one who brought Zipcar to Canada, correct?
So 19 shows you how old I am. In 2005, the Americans who founded Zipcar, who were very successful at the time in New York, Boston, Seattle, Chicago, and all over DC, wanted to open up in Canada. And I got called to go to Boston to speak with them to see if I would open up a subsidiary in Canada. So we opened up in Canada. It had already kind of started a little bit before I got there, but it was just kind of feeling itself out. And then I came in and we brought in some staff and some team and scaled it up to 475 vehicles. But it wasn't the vehicles and it wasn't even the car sharing itself that was the attractor to what ended up being a $500 million buyout from Budget Avis. It was actually the technology, as you alluded to. It was the RFID technology on the windshield of the car, where you had a card that gained you access. And from the moment you got into that car, the data that was being collected from the car itself was amazing. I was very spoiled every morning. I had a big dashboard in front of me that told me everything I could possibly want to know about the car, its whereabouts, the ability to unlock it remotely on my computer, to following the life of the car's health. It was incredible. And so
you took all that and turned it into how big of a business? Because that's really the point I want to make. How big of a business was it in Canada?
Yeah, so we were doing $11 million of revenue within a few years. And it was zero. It was zero to hero. I would say after about 8 months after launch is when we started to generate some serious revenues, and then it just kept going up and up and up like a hockey stick after that.
And that's the point of this. That for everyone watching at home, in case you didn't know about Michael. This isn't Michael and a couple of guys getting together and thinking, let's see if we can sell this AI stuff. He's got a significant track record in leading teams, processes. Doesn't happen overnight, But Zipcar at the time was cutting edge technology. Nobody knew about it. Don't take it for granted what it is today. And he scaled that up pretty fast. So Michael, you're a previous winner, and it looks like you're on your way to doing that with Predictive AI as well. And can't wait to have you back.
Thank you very much.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Michael Lendy. He's CEO and president of Predictive AI, trades on the venture exchange under PAI, in the US under INOTF, and for our friends in Europe under 71T. You got to do your due diligence. It's only up to you. So we're going to help you out with that. Get to Agoracom, get to the Predictive AI Hub, and take a look at the profile page, because we know that this is cutting edge technology and it isn't something everybody understands the first time. But we've got it really nice laid out for you in a great layman's explanation form and content, so you get it. And then from there, link over to the Predictive AI website, which you can see right above Michael's head, also on the image on the screen, and do your additional due diligence. We're huge believers in artificial intelligence. We think it's going to change our lives drastically over the next 10 years. So hopefully you understand that, you do your due diligence, hopefully find your next great small cap company. Have a great day. See you next time.